Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly, what am I going to be? I'm going to be your friendly storyteller today, because today we are getting a game to the table that has not I've not brought to the table on the channel yet. Well, I guess for one, this edition I have never run before. And I haven't run Vampire the Masquerade, this particular game in general, I believe since around 96. So this is a very long time coming, 28 years since I last ran this game. But today we are going to be playing a special one-shot of, who's the publisher of this now? I think it's Renegade Games, same guys who do the G.I. Joe and Transformer games. We're playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Now, this is the current edition of the game. And again, I have not run this game before. I've not run Vampire 5th edition at all. And I have not run Vampire the Masquerade in many, many years. I say this because I'm going to get lore stuff wrong. I'm going to get rule stuff wrong. So we'd ask your indulgence as we're getting our footing for this. And don't take any of this as official lore for the setting or the game. But with me today for today's special one-shot called Shovelheads are two of our luminaries from the Guard campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Robert.
Hi, I'm Robert. I am playing the Brute, and I literally know nothing about him. So nice. I know how he got there, but that's meta knowledge.
Yeah. And joining him is John.
Hey everyone, I'm John, and like every good mastermind, I'm hanging out with the Brute over here, just for safety.
So for those who may be curious where the names came from, I have made use of a really cool template mechanic out of the player's guide that allows you to put the characters together in a pretty short order, because we decided yesterday or the day before that we were going to do this. So all right, so then anyway, so one of the things to give you guys an idea of what my thought is on this, so each of the classic World of Darkness games, and I'm gonna, as I decide, I will try and minimize my talking about the history of these games things, because I've loved these since the Vampire was out, Werewolf had just come out. That's when was my entry into World of Darkness stuff. Vampire, though, has always been sort of billed as the personal horror game, as opposed to some of the other stuff, like the action environmental horror of what do you call it? Of Werewolf. Mage is not about horror, really. Wraith is about horror, but in a very much more depressing and fucked up way. And Changeling is not about horror at all. But personal horror is always the way that this has been built, and that's sort of what I'm thinking we're going to, the way we're going to think of this, and it seems to be the way that the 5th edition was structured to try and get it back to that point. We were talking about superhero games before, and there was a point in the publishing history of the game where it is derisively referred to as the Vampians period, because you were effectively playing champions but with vampires. We had so many superpowers and shit. But our scene starts with both of our characters, I should say, we're not necessarily heroes, in utter blackness and desperately clamoring for light, but curiously not air. Our scene opens in a derelict and seemingly abandoned, and when I say derelict, I mean utterly destroyed. Something very wrong has gone on here. We can see that there are in the blackness of this unpowered warehouse, there are several fires that are burning. And if you were to look closely, you would see that there is a rough human shape burning within those chemical fires. There are barrels that are set up, and it looks like there was some kind of maybe a movie set or some kind of, if you're indulging in a satanic panic kind of vibe, there may have been some kind of Satanist setting up something in here. But there is a table with a bunch of ritual things that has been set over on the side, a tablecloth stained and partially burned. There are candles There is a ritualized looking chalice thing on the ground and dented in a way that suggests that someone may have stomped on it or kicked it. And there's a lot of bodies. And it's in the corner on this where the concrete has gone away, where the earth has been exposed, that we see the first hand covered in dirt grasp or push its way up and then pull its way out. This is the mastermind. John, you can feel yourself pull yourself out from the surface, and instinctively, because of the darkness, your eyes flash an unnatural red, and you're able to see what was at first a blackened room. You now can quite clearly see. And what you can see is right next to you, the earth is being disturbed, and yet another person is pushing their way through. That is only... There's a couple of things I imagine that might be going through your mind at this point. But one of the overwhelming things that is pushing its way forward beyond this, as you're struggling to figure out what happened, why were you not needing to breathe, why does your head hurt so much, who are you? There's the hunger. You are hungrier now than you have ever been. And that's when you see the brute push his way through to the surface as well. And the look on his face, he may not see you, in fact. Because if you have gone stationary for a moment and are partially covered, you may have instinctively drawn on the shadows. But I can tell you that there is something very unusual about him as well. The shadows cloy at him in a way that is quite obviously unnatural, as is your current circumstances. You look over Brute, and what you see is a pair of red eyes in the darkness. You cannot see any person, per se. What do you guys do?
Question. Are we aware of anything of the supernatural as far as before we got...
No, it's a good question. So
conked?
the setting for the World of Darkness, as much as it has a lot of trappings of the our world outside your door, it is the World of Darkness. It is a different place. It's called, they've always referred to it as the Gothic punk setting. It is Gothic in the sense that it has these, Baroque horror kind of tropes to it. It's operatic. It embraces a lot of the darker aesthetic of kind of goth, culture, and it is punk because it is very anti-authoritarian, or it's supposed to be. There's a lot of class disparity and wealth disparity and power disparity played up very much in the game as well. But it is a setting that is not ours. So there is supernatural. If you have any dots in occult, you may be aware of that, but I'm not sure if either of you guys do. So you would definitely, depending on your character, you might have, in the same way that people believe in ghosts or believe in angels in our world, you might believe in those things as well. But there's not, there isn't an obvious, at this point in this game or in our version of the World of Darkness, there isn't a recognition that werewolves are real or vampires are real or anything like that.
Okay.
So
I suppose the first thing the mastermind does is he kind of wets his lips and attempts to speak and says, "This is not what I envisioned hell to look like."
And your voice cracks as if you're parched and unable to speak, or they had not had water for days. And his voice sounds odd like that as well, Robert. But let's see. Why don't you give us let's see here. Let's get some dice rolling. Those hunger dice can start doing some fun stuff. Why don't you give us a maybe give us a persuasion check, and I think that's probably just charisma. You're just being we're seeing how likable you are, as opposed to you trying to get him to do something with manipulation.
Okay, I have a decent shot at that then.
Okay.
Nope, still failing. No,
No,
wait, I got
you got 3 successes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, 10,
that's
6,
great.
8. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And typically, so like an average difficulty, if you want to judge, an easy task is 1, an average task will be 2, and tasks you're really only attempting when like there's something interesting that might happen if you fail. So we're not rolling for every single thing. 3 is pretty good.
I was just still getting used to how these display, so.
Oh, got it. Okay. So then, Brute, you hear this voice say that. What's going through your mind?
It's like, where the fuck, what is going on? And it's like he's just, he's literally trying to figure out where he is, also trying to remember how he got here, and just drawing a blank, getting him madder and madder because he doesn't know what the heck's going on.
When you're also finding, like, when you pull yourself up, you're able to slough off so much more earth than what you would have thought. Like, it's almost as if, like, you're sloughing off a blanket or a comforter as opposed to, probably 60, 70 pounds of dirt.
Yep. I'm not even sure he actually notices that, but it's somewhere in the back of his mind.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, he's like, gotta wake up.
So he staggers to his feet, pulling himself fully out of this, and you can see the horror that is around you. It honestly looks like, and I mean, actually, you know what? The Brood, why don't you give us a, so the skills aren't on the GM screen. Why don't you give us an awareness and wits check, please?
Okay, both?
Yeah. So
awareness with wits. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yep. And...
Okay. So you're looking around, and what you can see is there's, as I said, fires on the ground around you. You can almost picture like you're probably... It's some kind of recessed area that you're in. The concrete has been busted to reveal the earth underneath in here. It looks like there are some charred skeletons around you. It also looks like there are... it looks honestly like there was a spree shooting in here. Because I say that because there's not... The people who were on the ground, 4 or 5 other bodies that are on the ground... There's not a commonality among the people. This is not like, oh, it's a group of people who are obviously from this. It looks like people randomly grabbed off a subway and then shot. And that's when you hear that someone is speaking just in the other room and coming towards where you guys are. And it has that kind of... talking over a radio quality to it. Yep, I'm going to go back and double check. I think I heard something.
At that point, the mastermind will stand up, and the shadow just off of him now because he's moving. And I assume he's wearing what he's wearing, but all dirty and dusty.
Yeah.
So he's going to start flicking the dirt off of him, his eyes still glowing red, and says, I suppose we're not in hell. Find out what's going on, and he's looking for a weapon.
There's not really. I mean, there might be some. You know what? There might be. What? First off, give us an awareness check.
Okay,
are your eyes still glowing red?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no.
So wits is on it.
Yeah, I think wits.
Okay.
Awesome. There is a very odd-looking ritual dagger that's right near where that overturned, what do you call it? The overturned table is, and that strange chalice.
Oh yeah, I think I'll go for the dagger. Even he makes it like kind of like a disgusted look in the peasant tools because he's used to firearms.
Okay,
but he'll still pick it up.
So you, what you see is this fella goes over and grabs a knife off the ground. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
About that, so he hears the other, I would say, outside. And...
Sounds like there's 2 or 3 people coming down the hall.
Okay, so remind me, the room is how big?
The room is, you picture, it's like a warehouse, very much, you can see past and there's full of detritus, there's plenty of places to hide, plenty of shadows in here.
Okay, and so he moves over towards the door and wants to be on one side of it.
Sure.
So that, and maybe hiding back in the shadows, like so.
Yeah. Why don't you give us?
Is there anything like he could push if it's like a warehouse? Are there like things of boxes or whatnot near the door that he might be able to
shove over onto? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. There's.
Okay.
It's probably. I don't know if there's anything stacked up.
Yep.
Yeah, let's. There probably is. I think there's somewhere you can position yourself. But first, let's see.
Okay.
Why don't you give us a stealth check with probably dexterity, and then remember you get +2. Don't put the plus sign in, but 2 bonus dice because of your obtenebration.
Yep.
I know it's not called that in the current edition for those listening at home, but it'll always be that to me.
Is it called Oblivion or is it something else?
It's called Oblivion now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Holy smokes. Okay.
Okay.
So you make your way over, and hungry as you may be, you go in, and what you can see, John, is that it seems as if, again, like the shadows are almost like rising up to embrace this guy as he's going over. He's a big dude, but he is almost impossible for you to see as soon as he starts moving, when you can see everything else clearly with your eyes the way they are now.
He'll get a slight quirk to his mouth, as though he appreciates, someone is taking the stealthy approach, and he'll just stand there, dagger in hand, just to offer distraction.
Okay. Go. So what comes around the corner? Everything a sec here. I need the.
I'm over here like, wait a minute, is this a failed Sabbat ritual? Did we do we need to hide?
The brute is just like he wants out. That's all he wants. He doesn't. He's trying to figure this out.
No, neither of you guys have any frame of reference of what is going on right now.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah, he wants out of here. You don't appear to be a threat to him. He's like, okay, he's just going over to grab a dagger and stand there.
That's
I don't need to
what
worry
I
about
want
him.
you to think.
Yes.
All right. Now, do I have? Where are you?
I love the archetypes in the Vampire the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I've never run an ongoing campaign. We had very briefly a short couple of adventures that were set in Boston in the 19th century. I took John. You might not know this one, but Robert, the Mask of the Red Death. So I used that source book or the box set for Ravenloft and used it with Vampire.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Here we go. Okay. So I just needed their health, and I think that I've got this set up. Look at that. Attaboy, Madison. I've learned to set up my tokens properly. So, what walks in, guys, appears to be 3 men who seem dressed in, like, TAC uniforms or SWAT uniforms. They have helmets on. They don't have that. They have submachine guns in their hands, and let's see here. Didn't you roll 3 for your? Yeah,
I did. Yes.
Mastermind did. You rolled 3 for your stealth, but he rolled 3 for his awareness. The thing you spot that is unusual, there is a cross on the right lapel or the right shoulder of each of them that's been stitched in there.
Like a crucifix cross kind of thing?
A crucifix cross. So they go around.
We're in
now,
trouble.
Here's what there isn't really like an initiative system in the game. We sort of judge, at least not at default. There's a varying levels of granularity in this edition that we can use, but you guys are both vampires. I think you're both faster than what these guys are. So Mastermind or Brute, as they come around the corner, they see you, and you, I think, can hear one of them is like, there's one more. What would you like to do? Either of you guys can act first.
The mastermind, he kind of like instinctually like reaches forward with his powers, and I'm gonna try to command him to come. That is a nice weapon there. May I see it?
Okay, so they are mortals, and these ones do not have a opportunity to resist. So if you use that, then he starts walking towards you, holding his gun out. Brute, would you like to do something?
Well, yeah, I think he'd like to push the pile onto the other two who aren't walking towards the mastermind.
One of the things you can, and this is probably operating on an instinctive level, if you wish to rouse your blood, you could activate prowess, which would grant you +3 to damage for all strength checks or damage for any hand-to-hand, and 3 extra dice on any strength checks. And actually, I think it might be 3 auto successes. Hold up.
Is that potence?
That's potence, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and activate that.
So go ahead and click on your rouse.
Okay, so I roll next to the discipline. I can say rolls rouse. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So you don't increase your hunger in spite of being at a 4. You don't increase it anymore. So you have that, and the.
How does?
Oh yeah, so you have 3 strength. All right, so then go ahead and give us a probably. What do you think?
Is this maybe just a strength?
Athletics.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Yeah, athletics and strength, and you're going to add 3 to that because of your prowess.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so then. You're able to push something over much larger than you would have expected. So there's a huge...
Yeah, there's some crates of something heavy inside.
Yeah, and they are wearing attack armor, but because of your potence power, which the name of it I can't remember...
Prowess?
Lethal hands or something like that?
Oh, lethal hands. Let me check. Where'd it go? Potence. Where's that drawing? There it is. Lethal body.
Lethal body. There you go. You just send it, and this thing goes like hurtling into one of the guys. That'll be then 6 because it'll be. Let's see here. I think it'll be 3. For the size of this thing that's coming down, it's at least equal to a fire axe, plus your 3, meaning 6, plus your successes. What does it look like as this guy's crushed by this thing you just sent hurtling into him?
So, there's these boxes up there. He doesn't even know what's in them. He's pushing them, and this huge box lands basically sort of almost like the Acme, coyote things, where like this box lands on top of this guy. He disappears. The box kind of cracks, and all of this and like dirt starts pulling out. So this is excess dirt that they were using to,
awesome.
for the ritual.
Okay, so then the one that is the one that has been compelled, that's what his action was to walk forward. The other one says something over the radio, and then he's going to open fire on you, Mastermind. So this becomes a contested roll. I'm assuming you don't want to get shot.
I do not want to get shot. I mean, I'm not very aware of what I can do, but Drew just impressed me quite a lot.
Okay, so then what we do is they are... you always get to try and defend against ranged attacks using dexterity and athletics, but it's your circumstances that will modify it. So if you have no cover, you get -2 to your roll.
Gotcha.
Right now, I think you've got at least some cover, so it'll be -1.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to make that, and you are rolling against...
Could I attempt to use the guy who walked forward as a little bit more cover?
That's where I'm giving you cover from him.
Okay.
Yeah. From that, he's trying to fire around him. You're rolling against a difficulty of 4.
So athletics, dexterity, and then -1?
Correct.
Okay. Come on, hunger.
Oh. All right, so 1 success is good, though, so that brings down to 3, which means as he opens fire, that is 5 points of damage to your health.
Aggravated, or?
This is no, actually, because firearms... hold up. So normally... this won't be aggravated against...
I've only got 5 health.
Yeah, so it'll be 5, which isn't a problem. If you you can actually use your blood to heal superficial. You use a rouse check to try and heal. I think it's 1 or 2. I think it's 2 points of damage at your blood potency. But it is a superficial damage against kindred or vampires. So that means we take it round up. You take 3 points of superficial damage.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and you would know, that should have, it fucking hurts. That should have killed you.
I'm a bit of a showman, so I'm gonna actually just like they riddled me, and I'm gonna just slump to the ground as a show of.
Okay. So you drop prone. Then that they've gone. One of you guys would like to go?
Go ahead, Brute. Distract him.
And distract him, nothing. I don't do distractions, I destroy. So both are prone, you said?
No, I'm prone.
Sorry.
No, Mastermind is prone, and the one guy was walking over and going to hand his gun to Mastermind for some reason.
Yep. Brute, at this point, just charges the other one, and pretty much just wants to. It's almost like a football, like a linebacker or something. He's hitting the guy as hard as he can and trying to drive him into the wall behind. Okay,
so go ahead and give us his resistance. So hold on, for the melee close combat conflict is resisted by strength and brawl for unarmed.
Okay.
So that'll be 4 successes that you're going against. These guys are pretty effective, trained combatants. So go ahead.
Yeah, he's going to do brawl, I guess. That would probably come under. Okay.
Yep.
And then use strength and.
Nice! A net 1. So that is then, so your hand-to-hand normally does 1 point of damage. Your potence adds 3 to that, so it's 4, plus 1 more is 5. So that is, and because of your lethal hands, his armor is doing fuck all. So this is how much he takes. Look at this. You crunch into this guy, and you can hear the... not only the tack vest that he's wearing, but the probably his ribs are giving way as you slam into him. Yep. Mastermind, you should do anything?
I will from the prone. I'm gonna reach up towards the guy that was handing his gun to me and say, "Thank you," and take the gun and shoot him with it.
So you'll have to. He walked over to give it to you. You didn't take it from him last turn, so this turn you'll have to compel him again and take it. So you've got his gun now.
Yeah, I think I need to do a rouse check for dominate or mesmerize.
If all you're saying is give me that, that's compel.
Oh, that's a compel. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Okay. Okay, so you've got his gun now, and now it is their turn. He has given the gun to you, so he's currently trying to figure out what he's, shake his head clear. The other guy is, with you engaged, Brood, he draws out a dagger or a combat knife, and it looks like it's got a strange sheen to it. Doesn't look like it's steel. And he's gonna and try and get in and hit you. So why don't you? I'm just gonna. So just FYI, I could roll dice pools for them too. I find it's more interesting just to have you guys contesting it. So I'm doing half of whatever their pool is. It's 4 successes that you need to equal.
Okay, so this would be
resisting it with this would be dexterity and athletics for dodging, or if you're strength and brawl for unarmed.
Yeah, like he's probably trying to throw him off balance by basically, getting his shoulder back into him or whatnot. So that would be the strength and brawling.
Yep, sounds good. So just trying to keep him off balance so he doesn't stab you. Go ahead and roll. You just need to get 4. Oh, excellent. All right, so not only did you succeed,
I get the beast.
Yeah, the beast has triggered. So when the beast triggers...
Blood. It smells the blood.
Yeah, you may be able to satiate that
hunger.
That hunger, and get rid of some of those hunger dice. We played Alien last night, and when you get stress goes up, you get extra dice. But in this one, it converts the dice over.
Nice.
And then,
that was a fun Alien game.
Oh, Alien is such a good game. My God.
So how does the beast mechanically get triggered here?
Yeah, so it's when you roll a 1.
Okay, got it.
Oh, hold on, but you didn't fail. Hold up. Let me double check. I read it over again last night before, and then I completely forgot.
Oh, so it'd be a 1 if you roll 1 on the hunger, but okay.
Yeah, like the core rulebook says that. Here we go. So hunger dice. All right, so. A bestial failure is a failed dice roll where you also rolled a 1 is a bestial failure. That is not the case. You succeeded here.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually I don't know why that's triggering.
Maybe it just does it automatically as long as a 1, and then it's up to us to remember that
it could be. So, but if you had... suffered a bestial failure, then we would roll on compulsions. We can randomly generate them or set them normally. It's things like hunger, dominance, harm, paranoia, or your clan compulsion, because each of your clans has a different compulsion. In this case, that's just an incredible success.
Yep.
Because you battered this guy aside and knocked him off. I'll even give you +1 to your next close combat if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay. So they've gone. One of you guys can go next.
Yeah, he's going to follow that up, and basically, he's put them off down, and he's basically just going to try to smash them into the wall again and put his shoulder into where he felt ribs crack before. Awesome.
So this is one of the things they have in the game is maneuver. So if you describe something very specific that's playing on what's in the game, what's in the narrative, you'll gain. You can gain specific modifiers, or you can gain a specific result. So in this case, because you're playing to the injuries he sustained before, why don't you get +2 dice to your close combat? 4 is his defense.
Okay. So strength, and then +2, which is no plus. Okay.
How would you like this to end for him? And if you can, you're at an instinctive level, you need to feed.
Yes.
So if what you want to do is get in and just feed on this guy.
Sure. He basically is, he dug kind of like in one fluid motion. He got out of the way of the dagger by putting his shoulder into the spot that he'd already hurt, and then he just drives him back into the wall. I would imagine that the guy probably throws back his head to scream, because he feels, ribs cracking and everything, and his mouth just clamps on his throat. Okay. And he's tearing.
Then so there's some neat rules in this for humors and residences from different things. So let us randomly... Would you give us a D10 roll, Robert? I think you might be able to do that directly from the sheet.
Let's see.
I may be overly optimistic, but I think that...
sorry, what's this roll?
Just a D10.
Okay, I don't see where a D10 would be by itself on this. I'm just going to do it down here. Roll D10. Okay, 6.
Okay. A 6. All right, so there's only fleeting humors and no resonance in this. So it's a neat little thing where like there's some great rules for if certain people have one of the 4 humors in their blood, and it gives you little mechanical modifiers for it, and it's tweaked with resonance as well. So it's a neat little bit of flavor that adds to the hunting part of the game. And I'm a sucker for any kind of random elements. So so you sink into your teeth into this guy. Now it'll take you, I think, 4 rounds to fully drain him if that's what you're intending to do.
I don't think he's intending to do anything, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. So then here we go. Once per turn per hunger slated. So you've sunk into this guy and begin draining it. He'll have to I'll make a check for him to see if it is he's going to survive. But while you are feeding Mastermind, what are you doing?
Gotcha. His hands run along the gun and just like engages everything, and from his position on the ground, he just blazes up into the guy, kneecaps, thighs, and just tries to light him up.
So this guy will have an opportunity to try and dodge, but he's gonna suffer. He's got no cover, and he's right next to you. So I'm gonna set the difficulty to 2. So go ahead and give us a firearms and dexterity.
Okay, that sounds good. The modifiers.
Nice. Okay, so that is 1 net success, and submachine gun does. Hold up. That is on my GM screen.
Nice. Just trying to get around his flak armor from my prone position.
Yeah, it's probably 3. So it's 3, 4 damage, which would be so. It does hit his. Actually, because there is a mechanic for called shots as well, which I think. So if you were trying to get around the armor, I don't think you rolled enough successes to get around the armor, but you are able enough to get him. So this is going to be.
There's like intending
subdual.
what you're trying to do, and then
Yeah. So here we go. But you do like fucking rattle it into his chest, right? So he's staggering back. This guy is being fed upon, so that is good. Robert, you can reduce your hunger by 1 for that first round.
Sure.
Second round, he is in there is a kind of like an ecstatic kind of like stun that mortals undergo when they're being fed upon. So you can now reduce your hunger by 1 more because he can't do anything. This guy is going to reach at his belt.
Hunger on the sheet. Oh, there. No. Oh, there.
Hunger is right, I think, at the bottom.
I got it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This guy is actually going to draw. He pulls out what looks like a road flare, and he hits this thing, and it flares to life. And what I'll need you to do, there is
Blade vibes here.
An instinctive fear that vampires have of certain things. It triggers a can trigger a primal fear response called Rotschreck, which is triggered by sunlight for one and fire for another. So let me see here. Is this the wrong book? I was reading about this in the Second Inquisition source book, which is super fucking cool. Here we go. Tech. I think we need to make a fear check here, Mastermind. And this is something that is, again, a base level instinct that you... Ooh. Would you give us a composure check?
Sure. There it is. Any attributes?
I don't think... Oh, hold on, maybe it does. Let me take a look. This is something new as composure 1 5. Where I mean, I say new. This game's been out for almost 10 years.
New to you.
Composure and resolve.
Resolve. Okay.
Wait. Yeah, composure. Just give us a willpower roll, please. I think is what I'm.
Just
yeah, it's a
okay.
very long route to get to the. It's a willpower check. Okay. Would you roll for frenzy, please?
Although, remember, he can. Is it like he can burn willpower?
Yeah, you can take 1 point of. No, you can't. You can't spend willpower to re-roll willpower checks. Same thing. You can't. Yeah, unfortunately for hunger, there's 2 types of rolls at least: willpower and and I think maybe frenzy. There's 2 types of rolls you can't re-roll. I can't remember what the other.
Frenzy, no modifier.
Frenzy, no modifier.
Difficulty says 1.
Difficulty is a 2.
Okay.
Okay, so you can imagine that there is just a fear that you have never experienced in your mortal life that has taken hold of you as you see this flame. And it's just barely everything you can muster to prevent yourself from screaming and fleeing from this thing. Brute, you can reduce your hunger by 1 more.
Okay.
And then, so Mastermind, what are you doing? You've mastered your fear.
I'm going to light him up again with that firearm. Maybe go for the arm with the flare in it.
So here, actually, let's look up Cult Shot then, because if that's what you're trying to go for.
And there's times and plans for stuff, but he's out of his element right now.
Yeah. Okay, Error maneuvers. Go. Cult shots. After the test, you subtract successes. Hitting a specific target is not just harder, it also makes achieving a safe center of mass hit less likely. Okay, so you're going to get -2 successes. So basically, you're going to need 5 successes in order to hit the hand specifically.
I don't have that many dice.
Remember, if you roll 2 10s, you get crits. That is 4 successes right there.
Okay, well, he's not... So modifier 2, -2.
No. You roll normally. The -2 is the number of successes. It's a weird way that they've chosen to phrase it. But what you do is you roll I say you need 5 successes because I'm going to subtract 2 from there. You need to beat his 2.
Gotcha.
All right. So this is where you could spend your willpower, but willpower only allows you to re-roll up to 3 dice.
Well, I won't make any difference then.
Okay, so you're firing at this thing, and it's just it's probably the fear taking root in your gut. Brute, reduce your hunger by 1 more.
Okay, no hunger.
This guy is going to try and stab you with this stuff. So,
with the flare.
With the flare, yeah.
Lovely.
Now, one thing you could do as well, Mastermind, is you could rouse your blood to try and heal 2 points of damage you've taken.
Okay. Does that something I can do at any time?
It typically is an action you have to take. So just as an FYI, you might want to do that next time, because if you take aggravated damage, that fills up your health first as well, and then we start ticking over your superficial damage. Now this will be, you could try and dodge using dexterity and athletics, or you could use strength and brawn, or dexterity and melee. Well, you can't really use melee.
They're all the same roll to me.
Okay. So
I'll just try and dodge it.
Okay. Now here's something you can do. You can rouse the blood to add 1 to your dice pool, because it's a physical action.
Can I do that after I roll to see?
No, you have to do that before, because it adds to the dice pool.
So I rouse first to see if my hunger goes up, and then I roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's see. Rouse.
Nice.
Success.
Okay, so you're going to have +1 dice to your dice pool.
And dexterity, and just put modifier is 1.
Modifier is 1. Yes, that's right. +1. Ooh. All right. So he comes in and tags you for 1 aggravated damage.
Ouch, 1x, got it.
You also need to make another frenzy check because you have taken aggravated damage from a source of Rorschach. Whoa, you kept control though. Then, Brute, you have. Let me roll quickly to see if this guy is dead or not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here, 4. He is dead.
Okay.
Slump. What would you like to do?
He releases him and turns and sees the other. He kind of stares for a moment, like, "What the fuck did I do?" And then
you can picture that there's this guy, this other guy who was buried with you is firing a machine gun wildly. That's hitting the surface, and this other guy is like swinging a road flare seemingly at him.
Yep. When he sees the road flare, does he is he going to have to make any kind of a thing to attack the guy, or like a willpower check?
Don't. Ooh, good question.
Because he's not being threatened directly by it.
So give us a willpower. All you need is 1 success in this.
Okay, sure.
That's a good question because it is a source of.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is like, okay, I could just leave. He's distracting him enough. I could just get the fuck out of here. But he's like, well, this guy's attacking, the enemy of my, or the friend, whatever, the enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
Thing. So he's and if he's a willpower roll, you said?
Willpower roll, please. Yeah.
Okay, got it. No modifier. Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
And you would notice this too. Like, there's a weird that fear is not something you would have had before.
Yep. Yeah.
What are you doing?
He's satiated, so he's probably thinking maybe a little more clearly at the moment. I mean,
100%.
Not overly clearly, but he's like, okay, we've got to find something out about what's going on here. So he's basically trying to come in while the guy is doing this and just clock him as hard as he can in the back of the head.
Okay.
Maybe not as hard as he can. He's trying to knock him out, basically.
So the World of Darkness isn't really like, you could grapple the guy.
Yep.
But if you do enough damage to render him unconscious, like in our world, there's a potential he might die.
Okay. Instead,
turns out closed head contusions aren't just like comically out for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So like grappling, for instance, if you were to grapple someone, it is
maybe athletics or
strength
melee?
plus brawl. Contested. If you get more successes, you restrain the target, and then if on subsequent rounds you can try and like damage them, you can bite them, hold them in place.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. He's basically going to try to. Again, it's the tackle mode, but instead of driving him into something, it's more like take him to the ground and then pin him.
Sure. Why don't you give us a he has 4 normally for this, but because you're blindsiding him, I'm gonna reduce that to let's say 2 successes you need.
Sure.
Holy
Critical
smokes! All right. Do you want to knock that thing out of his hand too? The flare?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you race up. What does it look like as you grab this guy and completely restrain him?
I think because of the hit, imagine maybe he was a linebacker in a former life, right? And he basically blindsides the quarterback while he has his hand up ready to swing at the mastermind, and at the same time it kind of like slaps his hand while he's taking him down. So the flare goes flying. Yeah. And he takes him to the ground and make sure not to put his full weight on top of him but enough that he's got him pinned.
Okay, so he is well and truly.
And he growls, "Don't resist."
Okay. Dan, Mastermind. What is going on with
you?
The
urge is just to light him up with the gun. He's in pain. He's hungry and frustrated and.
If you were going to do violence, though, I think that the instinctive with 4 is like nearly out of control levels of hunger, and you can see there's blood on the brute's lips, so the smell of that is likely to be pushing
I think
you.
I'm gonna like grab a flailing arm and just bite into it.
Okay. Go ahead and give us a willpower check.
Okay. Or
So, I think that you can safely remove all your levels of hunger because you're drinking him dry.
oh yeah, I assume that would happen.
Okay. So let me just quickly roll and see if this guy is dead or not. He is very dead.
Okay.
So, both of you have your faculties. I think with enough, you have enough to give yourselves first names. What are your first names?
My guy's his name is Esquire.
His name is Esquire?
Yeah, well, first, last, he doesn't know. He just knows his name is Esquire.
Okay.
Mine is Jason.
Okay. And Jason, if you guys could just change your display names as well.
Sure.
Be great. All right. So,
Not exactly a brute-sounding name, but you know, there are contradictions in people.
Have you not seen the movies? Jason is
That's
terrifying.
true. That Jason. Okay.
exactly.
Got it. Got it.
You have your mother's voice in your head constantly.
Yes, yes. Okay, here we go.
Kill them, Jason, for what they did to us. So there's when you get up, and I think, Jason, you would recognize the relief and the more substantial self-control that you felt after feeding. And when this guy goes slack underneath you, Esquire looks up and has the same relaxed, the tension that was in his face before is gone. And now you can actually have the wherewithal to change your eyes back to so they're not glowing red if you don't want. Esquire?
I think they'll dim from the vibrant red, almost glowing, to just barely embers.
Yeah. Like this, like the red iris instead.
Yeah, like almost like a cigarette, a lit cigarette, almost.
Nice. Okay.
And he'll actually start patting the guys down to see if they have any cigarettes on them.
Okay.
Jason is like, he's still a little stunned by this whole thing. He's like, looking around, like, what the fuck happened? Who are we? I mean, what are we?
Well, I'm Esquire, sir.
From the sounds of things and from the squawk over the radio, there is more of these guys inbound.
All right. We got to get out of here. I'm Jason. That's all I know. And he looks around to see if there are windows.
There are, but they're pretty high up.
He can leap.
Yes, he can.
If he's looking up there, the Esquire will look up there and says, "That's a little high."
And that's when Jason, he can leap 9 meters, so that is 27 feet.
Yep.
So what does Esquire think as he sees Jason just leap up to the highest window here?
Less thinking, as though maybe I can do it too, and he tries.
Yeah.
And he looks like one of those kittens that try to like jump up the counter.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll stumble and hit the wall and just instinctively bury his fingers into the wall and just hang there for a second and maybe try to climb up after him.
Yeah, you can try. I think your athletics is not.
Oh, my athletics is nothing.
Yeah, and there's not really any handholds here.
Yeah.
It seems like the way that guy reacted when you told him to come over, obviously you've never been able to do that before.
Yep.
So that is something, it seems that he has been changed as well. And the way that guy tossed a crate onto the other one too, like that, likewise.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I must be stronger than normal human.
Yeah. Jason
You can rouse the blood to try and add 1 dice.
Would
And
be
right
like
now you have hunger of 0, so now's the time to rouse if you'd like.
Okay, so it'd be athletics strength to climb.
Well, first to rouse if you're going to try and add.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we'll
it'll be
try
athletic
that.
strength.
Oh, got a hunger.
Okay, so your hunger is going to go up by 1, but for the scene you're going to get +1 to
Athletics.
your strength.
Okay.
And Beast is going to see him try to do that, so he's going to lead down as far as he can, try to grab his hand.
Okay.
Oops.
He's trying to clamber up the wall, and it is not pretty.
All right.
Could I spend a willpower?
You could willpower would allow you to re-roll up to 3.
Okay.
Okay, so
Well, I got. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. So hit re-roll and put. I don't know if it does it automatically, but try hitting re-roll first and see if it automatically imposes.
Hey.
There we go.
There you go. All right,
Nice.
so you're able to actually, thanks to the, your normal strength is not there, but you pull on this blood, and it allows you to clamber up. So make sure your hunger is a 1 right now, and your
Got 1 tick on willpower.
1 tick on your willpower. So Jason, you're about to go down and help him, and then you see him clambering up. You're able to grab him and hoist him up, and as you do so, you can hear the sounds of another squad of these guys coming down. Run away! Inbound! Why don't we take our mid-session break right now?
Sure.
And then we'll talk about what you guys are going to do next.
Yep.
So,
This won't be canon, but I was just thinking it'd be funny if Jason says, "I think maybe we're superheroes. Maybe we should be like called something like the Guard."
yeah, really. All right. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. I was checking something here. Someone said there was a messy crit when we rolled the things, but that doesn't track because we didn't roll 2 10s, and there's no 10s on the brute dice. Donald, thank you. That's for the suggestion. That doesn't seem to be what was showing up in the results there, though.
Maybe he meant when the beast showed up.
Well, that's what I was looking at. But the beast, there wasn't crit triggers when there's 2 10s, or at least a 10, and there was no 10s on the hunger dice there. So,
weird.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. There was 2 1s, though. There was a 1 on one of them, so I think it might just, on the character sheet, it might show up whenever you're rolling a 1 on a hunger dice.
There's the 1 in the hunger dice and then 1 in his normal dice, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know what I don't know why that was the case, but all right. So you guys are on the top of a warehouse. You can see from your vantage point now, out looking out the window, that this entire place is just it is very much a derelict neighborhood. In addition to the warehouse itself, it's not just that you're in the shittiest room in here. For 2 blocks in either direction, there's just abandoned and broken down warehouses. But what you can hear from your vantage up here, there is the distinctive popping of gunfire, and there's a number of fires that are burning out here, similar to the ones you saw down below. And you can see that there are the telltale signs of, tactical flashlights that are out there in the darkness somewhere, of people moving around. If you are stationary, Esquire, you've got enough of a vantage and whatnot, so you could activate your Cloak of Shadows if you choose to.
I think he'll instinctually wrap himself in it and try to get an idea of where they are. Does he recognize this part of the city?
Yeah. Give us let's see here.
Maybe an investigation?
Investigation. Let's take a look at investigation. Let's see what the skill says.
Streetwise, maybe.
Because I don't. I would think it'd be a knowledge type skill instead, but maybe that's. Let's see how they phrase investigation. This one. All right. Investigation allows you to unravel cases of mundane and mysterious means, spot clues, interpret them, and trace. Yeah, sure. Why don't you give us? I think probably with wits then.
Okay. I think geography was his strong suit. 3.
Nice. Okay. So with 3, you are. So there is sort of a whatever city that you find yourself in. I think we said it's TV New York. It's somewhere down near where probably derelict docks are located. For those listening at home too, we're more concerned with the atmosphere than we are the actual accuracy of it. So my apologies to anyone with any understanding of New York geography. You're basically in an area that likely has not seen use since the 70s on a regular basis.
Perhaps we can figure out a quick way out of here. These crossmen seem to be on a mission.
Which we're apparently part of, but...
Jason, that reminds me of something of you. Hold up. I think I might have not put something clearly down, but I think you actually have a criminal background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you might be able to draw on something from your memory. Let me see here.
Chronicle.
Okay, here we go. Right. Contacts. I didn't put it down there. You have contacts, criminals.
Yep.
At 3.
Okay.
So you may be able to. This is a place where maybe there's stash houses or something down here.
Okay. So maybe he's looking around and he's like, hold on, we might be able to find something that could help us down here. By stash houses, you mean things that would have equipment and...
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And would he know, like, is there usually somebody guarding there? Like, is there usually somebody at the stash house who he would have to...
So you have both retainers as a... How many dots and retainers do you have?
Dots and retainers. Let me see. I've got 3.
So 3 means you probably have one person who... Someone you can rely on to act independently and make lesser problems go away. So you got like a lieutenant or like a trusted friend or something like that. Somebody who you can call on. And you also have Haven. Yeah, so this would be like a single-family home, someplace where there would be difficulty tracking you down.
Okay. Yeah, so he says, I might know where we can find some stuff to help us, or maybe even somebody who knows a little bit about what happened to me. I mean, I don't know.
Like it's Esquire's attention. He kind of like slowly looks over at him and thinks, and the shadows like drop from him real quick. And he says, "I have money or access to it. If you could get me out of this situation, I'd be glad to reward you."
What is your resources are 3, right?
3, yes.
Yeah. So you are rich. Great condo, nice house, luxury items, high-end equipment for several people. And then your influence is 2, I think?
Maybe
well, we don't
help a criminal background go away.
People want to do you favors. This is you pull in the mortal community, whether through wealth, prestige, political office, blackmail, or supernatural manipulation.
Yeah,
By default, it applies to one group. So like crime, media, religion, police, city government. What do you think Esquire's influence is over?
I'm gonna say crime, because he's seeking to make his own path to get his own domain. So he might be somewhat of a minor crime boss or bookie somewhere.
Okay.
That is just trying to make his way up in the area.
Okay.
I think he's remembering half of his stuff like vaguely as though a dream, because he's still recovering.
If Lucien favors firearms too, you could have taken a pistol from that guy if you didn't want to carry around a submachine gun.
Or is it easier to shoot?
Sorry?
Is it easier to shoot?
It's easier to conceal.
Oh, yeah, let's take the pistol.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jason's, what he offers money, it's like, it's almost like a shadow of his normal reaction. Like, because he's changed, right? And he basically he's kind of like switching over to different motivations and whatnot, but at the same time he hears money and he's like, yeah, I think I should. That sounds like a good thing. Yeah, it's
money
like almost
equals power.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's like, yeah, come with me. And he doesn't go to the Haven immediately because he's...
Well, first thing you guys are going to need to do is escape here, because this is full of these hunters.
Okay.
And mostly Esquire said that because if we're leaping around like pogo sticks, he's not going to be that great at it.
Yeah.
Apparently, our gifts are different.
Yes.
Although one we share is shadows.
Yeah. So, okay, who do we see right here? Like, do we see anybody here, or are we just hearing them moving around inside?
You can picture that you're currently about 30 feet off the ground on a warehouse. You probably wouldn't able to make your way out of here onto a warehouse roof. This building seems to be full of people who are looking for you, and from the looks of things, there's got to be dozens of these guys out here. And from the sporadic sounds of gunfire, it sounds like they are clearing out something.
It says, but everything's kind of like on the ground floor or in the streets as well, or just on the ground floor?
Well, right now you're in a warehouse area, so this is going to be like there are streets, but they feed between massive blocks where warehouses would be located.
Okay. Does it look like he could kind of leap from roof to roof?
Definitely
and he
not.
Kind of eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was going to look at his squire to get the idea whether or not he could actually carry him while he was. It's like, So he looks at him, he thinks about it, he's like, nah.
If you rouse the blood, perhaps, but even then, you'd probably have to.
Speaking of rousing the blood, I got some injuries I got to take care of here.
Oh yeah, you are pretty messed up.
Yeah,
So,
I got 3, 1 aggravated and 3 superficial.
okay, so the aggravated will take time. You have to rest for a night in order to do that, or rest for a day, I should say.
I could attempt to
Yeah,
get rid of the.
go ahead and give us a rouse check first. So your hunger goes up by 1, but you can remove 2 of the superficial injuries.
Okay.
How many do you have left still?
1.
1 superficial, 1 aggravated?
Yes.
Do you want to try and rouse again to get rid of that superficial?
Yeah, I can't fail all the time.
There you go,
There
no
we go.
problem. All right. Okay, so you have got yourself healed back up.
Yeah, you see him slowly. He's pulling bullets out of his skin, and then that's healing up, and he's like, "My suit.
So
Dry cleaning won't fix this."
As you're doing that too, why don't you? I think Jason, you're probably better at this. Why don't you give us a stealth check? And
Sure.
you can take +4 to this due to circumstances and your cloak of shadows.
Okay, sure.
Stealthy 2.
Where to
And
go?
you just need 1 extra success in order to cover Esquire as well.
And sorry, was there a modifier to that?
Yeah, +4.
Plus
Two from your not cloak of shadows, but from your obtenebration or whatever they're calling it, Oblivion.
Oblivion.
Yeah.
And which attribute?
Dex probably.
Dex. Yeah. Okay. Okay, +4. You said. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You guys can make your way clearly around here, even though you're not going to be able to leap rooftop to rooftop.
Yep.
It's almost like the shadows are lengthening when they're getting close to you.
Yeah. It does say 45 meters, but I guess, or sorry, 15 meters. Never mind. It's 45 feet. Yeah.
15 meters. Yeah, that's, you're right. That is, it's pretty far. It's just that I can't see, like, there's probably parts of this he could.
Yep. Maybe he, like, does.
Well, let me ask
would
you,
he
where is
also
it you're
be
trying to get to?
outside of the warehouse district, but if there's a, he would then be trying to find the nearest. He basically wants to get to a place where he can make a phone call outside of this area.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I think that you find you don't have any. There's no smartphone on either of you guys.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I think that the athletics. It'll be an athletics check. How are we going to handle this?
But I'm also perfectly fine if the stealth check is enough for us to get out of here.
Well, stealth is enough for you to not. Yeah, and I think if you're going to go down to the ground, that will allow you an opportunity to see something too. Sorry.
Yep.
What you can tell is these. If you've got sort of a criminal association, Lucian, there's definitely not a. This is not New York, police. This is something else. Nor does this seem to be military as well. There's no other insignia or markings on there that aren't religious, and you're fairly certain as well that you overheard someone speaking Latin at some point.
Okay.
What you can do is, I wonder how untrained checks work in here. Let's see.
Latin.
Here we go.
An inside check or
There's a
there is
cult.
a cult is what I'm thinking, but if you're not trained in it, I don't know what the penalty is for untrained skill, or if there is anyone in this edition. So, let's see here. Skills.
kind of funny. I got a decent larceny streetwise.
Yeah.
I'm really good at lockpicking.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So those are the things that. In which case, if you want to break into a car, maybe. So the rules are right.
That sounds loud. Maybe outside the warehouse district.
Yes.
Well, with your lockpicking, though, you could get into a vehicle without having to break a window.
I mean,
can't drive it now.
Fair
Let's see.
enough.
maybe technology for driving? No, I have no drive.
Technology would be for hot wiring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any skill in that, and I apparently can't drive either.
I mean, anybody can drive a car.
If to be honest, from what I understand, if you grew up in New York, there's a chance that you wouldn't have had to learn how to drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, how hard can it be? Just don't hit anything.
So I can't find anything directly on this. So why don't you just give us a intelligence and occult roll? Both of you guys can do that.
Okay.
I'll just adjust the difficulty. So difficulty will probably be a 3 here.
Gotta get 10s then. Oof, close.
Okay.
No modifier. Okay. Nope.
Okay.
It's like,
That's the best I can roll in that.
Yeah, so I think like what you're there's something vaguely there's something that reminds you of church. I'm not sure what Lucian's backstory or like ethnic background is, but if you
I'm thinking maybe Italian mob descended kind of Catholic stuff,
So
but
then
that was like
definitely-
way back in the day.
there's definitely a matter of reminding you of Catholic services or of masses. That with the use of certain Latin phrasing that you're overhearing in here, and the markings of the cross on this as well. This is definitely not standard police. This is something. Does the church have an armed wing?
Knowing the Vatican and crime in general, probably.
So. Well, with your
yeah.
incredible levels of success, you're going to be able to maneuver yourself to the edge of, which is Jason with directing Lucian along. Get him to the edge of the warehouse district, and are you just trying to find a cell phone or a pay phone, or because Lucian certainly has enough power to compel someone to just give him your cell phone.
I think, actually, he'd probably prefer to use the cell phone because then he wouldn't be able to be. They wouldn't necessarily. I mean, the cell phone would know the location, but then it would go after it would follow the person who made the call, or the person whose cell phone it was. Yeah, he'd do that. He'd kind of suggest that. I was like, we need a cell phone. Looks like you're able to convince people to do stuff for you.
Lucian's looking around. He's like, people are starting to look real tasty right now with his 2 more hunger building back up. Mm-hmm. He's going to try to compel them rather than mesmerize them.
Okay.
But so he's going to keep his attention on them. Come, phone, stay quiet.
So give us a percentile roll, John.
Sure. 15.
So there's it's a young guy with a little duffel bag. He's on his phone talking to someone, and then he makes eye contact with you, and then immediately freezes, comes over, hands the cell phone to you. You hang up, I guess.
I'd say, put the phone to my head and said, he's busy right now.
Okay.
Hang up and hand it to Jason.
Okay, now, here's something interesting. Would you give us a technology and intelligence check, please, Jason?
Sure. Technology, intelligence. Technology is there. I have no ability on technology.
Yeah, so you need 3 in this because there's something very...
Yeah.
And it said facial recognition. Ugh.
No, so what it is, you guys may be aware of this already from either your direct or peripheral knowledge of the setting. Every clan has its own bane. There's something that has it's a supernatural impurity about theirs. One of the ways that the Lasombra have traditionally been displayed is they don't have reflections. And in the modern era, it also means that technology just doesn't work properly when it's around them, or at least they're not able to do so. So you grab the phone, and then almost immediately this thing starts glitching out. And you're tapping it, and you're trying to get it to activate, and it's just not... It's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting more and more frustrated as he's doing it. It's like, what the fuck? It's like,
Right before he smashes it, I'm gonna snatch it back from him.
yeah,
Look
he
at it.
basically does have it up. He's about to bring it up, and so Lucian grabs it.
I'm gonna look at it and look at him and look back at the phone and tap it. Is it working?
Yeah, you're able to get it back working again.
This is the
fuck?
weirdest. What's the number?
He kind of looks over the. He gives him the number.
Okay.
And he'll just type it in and look at him and then look at the kid stay and then he makes the call.
Okay. Who is is it your retainer you're calling, Jason?
Yes.
Who's your retainer?
We'll call him Darren.
Darren, okay.
And then he hits speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he calls him something else, he calls him. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a good name for him. Anyway, I can't come up with a nickname off the top of my head.
Okay. You can call him D.
Yeah. Yeah. He calls him Little D.
Okay.
Hey, Little D.
So how would he respond, do you think?
Well, I mean, he knows the guy. He probably is used to doing things for him. I'd probably say, but I mean, the question is, how long has Jason been missing, and like, would he have?
Seems that you've been missing for at least 1 day.
Yeah, okay. And he'd be used to me touching base with a little more often, probably.
Yeah, and also you were unexpectedly gone missing.
Yep.
So the first answer he would have, because it's an unknown number, the first I imagine is like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. It's like, Lil D, it's Jason.
Jay, where are you? You all right?
Warehouse district, and I'll get back to you on the all right bit, but warehouse district, something happened, some guys grabbed me, and do you know anything, did you hear anything about what happened to me, or
No. You just... I haven't been able to get a hold of you for a day now.
Says,
Do you want me to come pick you up?
And he looks around, and so we're still a little close to the warehouse district. He's like, yeah, pick me up, but at that gas station down, he gives an address that's maybe about 5 blocks away or so.
Okay.
And it's kind of getting back more towards a slightly more affluent region, but not quite yet.
Okay.
And pick me up there. And and we might need, and he looks over at Lucian real quick, and he kind of points to the pistol, like, need anything else? Something else. Like, he's basically asking, do you need anything more than that?
He'll shake his head, but he'll clear his throat and just, Little D may need to know you have company.
Yeah. I have
who's
a friend
that?
with me. Yeah, I have a friend with me.
What's on speakerphone, so he would have heard. Mm-hmm. You say, who is that?
He looks over at him. He says, "Friend I found got taken too. But I think he says he's rich. Maybe he'll give us some money to help him out. But basically, he just wants out of the area too.
Okay.
Don't worry. He doesn't look too tough.
Okay.
Bring some cigarettes, Little D.
Yeah.
Lucian and Jason, would you each give us a awareness wits roll, please?
Sure. Where the heck is? What can I? Oh, I'm
Getting hungry.
Do not eat Little D.
Okay, so you're focused on the phone call. It seems like, Lucian, what are you doing with this kid who's standing here? You just keep telling him to.
Yeah, every few seconds he'll glance over and stay quiet.
Okay. Yeah, so your presence will be enough to keep him in place. What you're looking at, I mean, you're maybe looking around, Lucian, because you guys also just dug yourself out of the grave, right? So your clothes look filthy. Yeah. So this guy's kind of looking you over. What you see, Lucian, is that there is a black van at the end of the block that is just like kind of slowly pulled up to the intersection. And you can see that like the lights changed, it's still stopped. And you just have a feeling that this thing is through those tinted windows, there may be someone watching you.
And I'll look over at Jason and just snap my finger and point to that direction. And then mouth, we should probably move.
Yep. So there's a little D, you know where to meet us. And he kind of pauses for a second, says, bring some clean clothes. You know,
clothes.
Change of clothes.
All right. So, a half hour. I'll see you there.
All right. And so he takes the phone and.
If you take the phone, then once again it starts. You know.
Yeah. It's like. So he kind of looks at Lucian and he kind of looks at the guy that they took the phone from and he's like, "Can we give this back to him? Is he gonna forget we were here? What, you know, I don't know what you do."
I'd take the phone back, give it to the kid, and look at him, and I'm rousing, using the power to more of mesmerize him.
Okay.
And say, you never saw us.
Sure. Give us a rouse check. No problem.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So all right, and he just carries on, and then he calls off, and what you overhear as he's walking in the direction of that van is. Yeah, your phone cut out. What were you saying? No, there's not anyone else here. So he clearly just completely forgot what you were saying.
Okay.
What are you guys doing immediately after getting out? So you've seen that thing about a half block up?
Yep.
Shadow time.
Jason, yep, exactly. Stealth.
Okay.
And then...
So this time I'm going to ask you to roll individually. They are observing you right now, so it'll be 3 successes.
Yeah. So first, the way that the brute starts is a different direction than what he intends to go.
Yeah.
And that's
same.
the shadow.
Okay. So why don't you get a +1 you'll have a total of +3 to your dexterity stealth check, and then Lucian, you'll just re-rolling dexterity and stealth.
Okay.
Incredible.
No.
Okay, it's pretty good. Not quite good enough to Jason, you're starting going in one direction and you're start going in another, and then like the shadows just envelop you. Lucian, were you trying to follow him, or?
I was trying to get out of sight and then slink down to get my obfuscate going on, and then dart after him.
Yeah, so you're moving yourself over to try and find a place where you can have cover, and that's I think when the van surges forward and begins coming towards you guys, and you can hear the chunk as the side is beginning to open.
Yeah, it's running time.
Okay, so let's
into the woods we go. Or
I think there's an awareness.
The Central Park.
Let me check here. Wow,
that's a ways from here.
Yeah.
So I think there is a way of rolling initiative as an option under the advanced rules. And I think it is
default to cards.
Yeah, we could do cards as well too. I think there is a way of I think using wits and awareness. That gives it, at least for those of you who have high scores in those things, at least a benefit. Let's see here. Conflict options, advance, block, movement and conflicts. Who goes first? Here we go. Composure plus awareness.
Okay.
Composure and awareness.
Yeah, so for these guys, they would have... Let's see. Composure and awareness. They had 3 successes.
Okay.
Awareness, composure.
I am on it.
Oh, no, hold on. It's initiative rating. Actually, you're not even rolling. What is your composure plus your awareness?
3 and 6.
6 total?
Yep.
Okay, and for you, Jason?
Mine is 3.
3, okay. So then we'll go. Lucian goes first, then these guys, then you, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lucian, what are you doing?
So they've obviously seen me, but not him because he's stealthy enough. Is there any kind of like cover I can duck behind real quick and then just dart off, or? They know we're outside the warehouse district, so things have probably opened up a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that like you can picture this as more of a, your average like residential or like or apartment building kind of streets. Mm-hmm. So there's probably like alleyways you could try and run down.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Like I know where we're going, so I'm gonna try to get him clear of them to the certain point. So if he's going this, I know he's going this way to turn that way. Yeah. I'm gonna try and do something similar where I dart further off and then go a different direction.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to push it as fast as I can, draw on whatever blood I have.
Yeah, so you can.
I can't promise with little D anymore, but
Yeah. You can, if you want to add to your physical stats for your. I think if you're just trying to outdistance them, it's probably stamina and athletics. So if you want to add to your stamina for the round, just go ahead and make a rouse.
I lost all.
Yeah, I will do a rouse. Ooh, Hunger Games.
Your hunger's up again.
I lost sound.
Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, you're still in the call, Robert. Well, you can't hear us, I guess. Hold on. Let me put it in here.
Sorry, I lost my sound. I'm going to refresh here.
Okay, let's see your sound.
Oh, I got it now.
Okay,
I got it.
You can hear us?
Yes.
All right.
So you said stamina and what now?
Stamina and so you're going to add +1 stamina and athletics.
Athletics, okay. We really need to put points into athletics. And add 1. Here we go. Come on. Ooh.
Oh! That is one
on
success, though. So you are racing along. Unfortunately, they are keeping pace with you with the van, and they are going to open fire on you. You will have some cover in here. So if you want to give us a athletics and dexterity check, you'll take -1 to the pool here.
Do I still get the routes for the round, or is that just the roll?
So you actually add to a specific test. You could rouse. Let me see here. I think you could rouse to your dexterity as well. Let's say you can. Again, like for those listening at home, it's our first time running the game. I'm probably getting a bunch of stuff wrong. Don't really care.
Okay, got it.
Great. Okay, so then you're going to add dexterity plus athletics plus 1 extra dice. Oh, okay. No, don't, because you're going to take a -1 for the lack of cover. You got some cover, but not enough. Go ahead and roll. Does take 1 success away from them, which means you take 4 points of damage. It'll be 2 superficial.
Okay.
You're tagged a couple of times by their gunfire. Oh, 3 is submachine gun. Shit. So it'll be one more superficial.
Got it. Okay.
You can hear, Jason, this gunfire going as Lucian tries to go down the hall, one of the alleyways. The van seems to sort of turn in the direction and begins opening fire down the corridor, and you can hear him shouting. Jason, you're up next. What would you like to do? Where do you think you are in relation to...
Well, it sounds like this happened fairly quickly after they started moving. So he would have heard it coming. And then once he hears the gunfire, he knows that's, they've caught him or they know where he is. And so he probably didn't get very far. He probably just started down one road, and then he was planning to double back. He's like, shit. And so he basically goes back the direction he came, hoping that they're too focused on Lucian at the moment. And
Lucian, they definitely cannot see you. You got 6 successes on your stealth. So
So the door of the van is open.
The door. What I'm picturing is if you picture like a New York City street with big. Oh, I've actually. Hold up. I think from our.
So you got to be driving after me and like shooting out the side of the van or something.
Yep.
Yeah, and I might have a thing because of our charity sessions from last year. I did load a ton of like New York Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here. Look at this, guys. Let me add a new page in here.
Yeah.
This is sort of what I'm picturing as the thing. Let me bring you over here.
Yeah.
It's dark, and it's also not 1970, whatever the hell this is.
Yeah.
So, here.
Yeah. I think what he wants to do, is if he can get into a position where he can basically leap at the van and try to punch the driver, like basically he's like through the glass.
So you used to be able to spend blood to take extra actions, but I can't remember if that was only through. There's a discipline called celerity that would allow you to do that, but I don't remember if you need. Let me just quickly check and see about the rousing, because you might be able to take an extra action, because it would be the leaping onto the thing and then probably the attack. Because that sounds cool. In fact, let's do that. Fuck it. Well, if I'm wrong about this, whatever. We'll look forward to the World of Darkness police coming and yell at me. So give us a rouse check first. So if your hunger goes up, no problem. So what do we see?
So he basically, he comes out in almost exactly the right spot, sees Lucian. Are you running? Or
he's trying to dodge and weave and like get behind cover and go to an alley.
Yeah, so maybe he sees him, flash past, and he hears the van coming, and he basically just like leaps up, and it's like has a fist cocked back.
Okay.
He's not even really trying to grab the van; he's just trying to like hit the driver as it comes through. Yeah, through the window.
Okay, you had not activated your what was it, the prowess or whatever your potence ability was to add. Did you want to try and rouse that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that. So we're gonna rouse. All roused up.
Man, you were just efficient with that blood.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you get in and go ahead. I think I'm going to set the difficulty at 2 to connect with this guy. Go ahead and give a...
Athletics?
No, it would be Brawl.
Okay.
Brawl and Strength.
Brawl. Okay, got it.
The Brute is a very apt name for his character.
Yeah. All right, so that is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. So what's it look like as you just drop this guy unconscious, dead? You do aggravated damage against living things, so there's probably a gooey paste left of this guy's head.
Yeah, more or less. And there's glass shards in it as he came through. And of course that means now the van is probably out of
control.
Out of control.
Yeah. Would you give us? Let's make sure you don't get clipped by it. Give us a athletics, dex and athletics check there, Jason.
Sure.
We'll set it'd be a difficulty of 2 to avoid getting.
Okay.
No problem. So you push yourself back. So Lucian, you got tagged a couple of times with the van kind of screeches over and then thumps against a parked car. What are you doing, Lucian?
I am briefest glance over at Jason, and I am just jetting it as fast as I can away.
Okay. So you'll be able to get away now at this point because the van has kind of slammed to a stop.
I had planned on like looking over and dominating that and jerk left real hard, but Jason apparently.
Yeah. All right. So then there is still, however, a van full of these guys. So let me.
Feel sorry for any mortal I meet in an alleyway, because.
Yeah, actually, and that's an interesting point. There's. If you want to just like grab the first person, I've got a great random victim table from the GM screen.
Let me roll a frenzy to see if I do grab the first person, or if I have a mind to go a little bit deeper before I do it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, he waits until like he's a little bit deeper and out of sight before he grabs someone.
Okay. So in the van, let's see here. The driver is dead, but there will be 3 others still in there. All right. So let me make athletics checks for them. Okay. That is 2, good enough. And I'm justifying my previous purchase of some branded Vampire the Masquerade dice. Because they cannot be used. They don't have any numbers on them. They only have the symbols for success and symbols for crit. Yeah. So they can't use them in anything else other than this game. And potentially that's not true. It's also potentially a werewolf. The werewolf custom dice are even fucking cooler. Okay, so they all managed to not take any significant damage from it. They are going to step out and start. I think some of them are going to ready actions to fire if they see you. Okay. Am I on the GM screen, or am I on what layer am I on with these guys? Token layer. There we go. I was on the lighting layer for some reason. All right, so then there's 3 of them who are out and all looking around and trying to keep an eye out for where you've gone. Lucian has run to the end of the alleyway, so he is not in view any longer. It'll be back to Lucian again. What are you doing? All that's happened is the things crashed. They've managed to sort of recover and have stepped out. Jason is just kind of back standing in the street right now. You have run probably another at the end of the alleyway and then maybe down another alleyway.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to look for somebody to grab that I'm out of sight now.
Sure.
Because if I have a little bit more blood, I can help Jason out.
Sure. Give us a percentile roll, please. 75. Awesome. So you're looking. This is awesome. The first person you see, you realize that there is who's kind of run around the corner. They haven't seen you yet, but who's running around the corner is coming down is another one of these guys. I just rolled a Slayer as your random victim.
Oh, great.
They have not seen you. But what would you like to do? Well, you can take your action now.
I don't have much of a choice. If it's another enemy, he hasn't seen me. Is there any kind of benefit to ambushing somebody?
Definitely. That means they can't resist.
Okay, I want to pin myself against the wall and use my obfuscate to kind of hide in the shadows because he's going to dart by me, and I'm going to try to grab him by the neck and just sink my teeth into him.
Why don't you give us a brawl check afterwards? All you need is 1 success.
Okay, and I'm rousing myself.
We're still in the same scene. So you've roused for stamina, you've roused for dexterity already, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to rouse again for strength, go right ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So you said brawl and strength?
Yes, please.
Oh, this is so bad.
And you're going to get +1.
Okay, add 1. Is that from the rousing?
That's from the rousing, exactly. You're adding +1 to your strength score.
Ooh. Willpower.
Oh, the beast.
Uh-oh.
All right. This is... Now, you could... Oh, no, you... I don't think you can spend willpower to get around that. So, here's what we can do. It is...
I'm loving this. We get to see everything.
Yes. Give us a... let's see here. Well, what do you think? You know what? Do you think it's going to be the hunger that's going to take...
Oh, he intends to bite this guy and rip him up. Maybe he's just going to go all out.
Yeah, so maybe you just scream, and that's the reason. You're just ah! Your teeth are out and everything, and that's why he's ah! And he's able to kind of keep you off of him.
Right.
Then it is these guys' turn. So they hear the sound of someone else shouting down the corridor. So they're all turning and looking down the alleyway.
I'm the best distraction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
and they're like talking on the their radios, and the three of them begin making their way down the corridor. This game uses zones in the same way that like a lot of the other games that we have are like close zone, other zone, whatever. So this is, or hold on, maybe it doesn't. I might be thinking about Aliens again, but in any event, they're moving a little further down the alleyway. The one that's with you, Lucian, he has a gun out, but you're too close right now, so I think he's just going to try and like pistol whip you to knock you to the ground. So he will get 3 successes. If you want to try and avoid that, you can use strength and brawl, or you could use dexterity and athletics to try and avoid. You have roused all of those, so remember you're getting +1 dice for each of those. What do you think? Lucian?
So he's trying to pistol whip me.
Yeah. That's also going to be superficial damage on you, so...
Yeah, I'm going to try to dodge it.
Okay, so then athletics and dexterity with 1 extra dice. Nice, so you reduce it down to 2, which means he is going to do 2, so it'll be 3 points of damage, is 2 more superficial.
Okay, what happens when I'm maxed out with superficial and 1 aggravated?
Okay.
Like I don't have any more red health left.
Then, hold up here. That's a good question. This hunger...
Probably a frenzy roll, isn't it?
You actually might be... Because the vampires are subject to physical damage in the same way. Let me see here. Health. They've done this... the layout in this in the core rulebook is a little scattered. They've got like basic rules at one point in the middle of character creation, and then they have the advanced rules, which is just basically like the actual rules later in the book, and then healing is at some point.
I suppose I could attempt to willpower re-roll that. If
you could, yeah. Do you want to re-roll the two?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do that. Re-roll dice 2.
Yep.
So it won't count the 6? Okay.
Exactly. You count your 1 success already, and no additional successes. Okay. All right, so then... Let's see here.
Or the shot.
Okay, absolutely. Contests. Tracking damage. Here we go. Impairment. Once a character sustains enough damage to fill their tracker, they are impaired. Impaired characters lose 2 dice from all their relevant pools, so physical pools from the impaired health.
That's all my physical dice then. Okay.
Okay. Minimum 1, I think.
Oh, okay.
And because remember, you're also roused, so you have +1 to all your physical stats right now.
Okay, so no real bad effect.
A character
then.
that takes, while impaired, converts 1 for every level of damage of either kind, superficial or aggravated, that you take while you're impaired. Convert 1 previously sustained superficial damage to aggravated damage. Remember to have superficial damage as usual before converting it. Okay. So you didn't take 3; you would have taken 2 points of superficial, and. Yeah, right now right now you're up -2 to your physical stats. Until it's filled with aggravated damage, you don't need to worry about it. When your aggravated damages are filled, you fall into torpor, which is a state of until you get blood, you're kind of in like stasis. So this guy kind of knocks you, and he really gets a good hit off on you, and you kind of stagger forward. Oh. Jason.
In the bad shape.
What are you doing?
So he's just heard this, right? He doesn't yet have
you
any
can
idea
picture
what's
it's
going
still Nice. So the van has crashed. They spilled out of it.
Yep.
They were looking around for you. They heard the sound of someone shouting in the alleyway. They turned in that direction. So all their tack lights are there, and they began walking in kind of a military formation down there. They do not seem to be aware of you whatsoever.
Yeah. He's gonna. Yeah, he wants. I'm thinking of kind of like Jurassic Park, where like the three guys are going through the fields, and like he comes up semi stealthily and yanks them. So he wants to grab the middle guy, so that basically the two on either side are
sure.
Are eventually he wants to get to intimidation, but he doesn't think doing that on three guys is a good idea.
Okay, so let's so of the three, there's got to be one who's a little further back than everyone else. Why don't you give us a stealth check with +2 from your cloak of shadows? Whatever your, what do you call it?
Yep. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I know what it would be. Yep. That would be, I think it's called Cloak of Shadows.
Cloak of Shadows is actually Lucian's ability.
Shadow Cloak. Okay.
All of these were made with fridge magnets. Just different words moved around.
Yes. So stealth check, and I add
2 because of that ability.
Okay. Stealth 2 is there, and dexterity and 2.
Okay.
That's a fail. I think I want to use willpower on that. Oh wait, no.
Go ahead. You can re-roll up to 3.
Sorry, that was 3 successes.
It's 3 successes, but you need to beat them. Remember, as the acting character, you need to.
Okay. So yes, and how do I get rid of willpower? Or
if you tick on one of the green colored ones, it'll make it a slash. That means you've got superficial damage to it.
Sure.
Okay. And then go ahead and click on re-roll up to 3.
Oof.
Very so.
Oh.
Yeah. When you hit re-roll, it prompts you for how many, right?
Yeah, he re-rolled the skill and I think he hit WP re-roll.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So what should I hit?
That's fine. There's enough. Like almost, we can pick any one of those, and it would have been,
Every single one of them was a success.
Yeah. So then go ahead and give us a brawl and strength, and I'm not resisting because they have no idea that you're coming.
Yeah, this is basically trying to. This one is more or less trying to tear his head off. So.
Okay.
Because he's trying to terrify these guys. So.
Yeah. Oh. So, what would you like to have happen here?
He basically starts by breaking the neck and then continues twisting until effectively everything. He can just tear everything off, and he throws it at the feet of. I'm assuming the other two are turning around. So
so there's this crunching sound, and they both sort of turn, and this headless body falls to the knees and falls to the ground, and then from the shadows, this head is tossed into the middle of them, and they're like, I'm going to make a willpower check for them.
Yep.
Because that is terrifying. Lucien, you'll be up next. What are you doing?
Facing this situation where he's just going to draw on, like, I know they speak Latin, there's probably the church involved, the cross is there, he's going to just let his mask drop and his face contorts, and he's going to try to use his compel on this guy and tell him to flee with like the most guttural sound he can make.
Aren't you in frenzy right now though?
I didn't.
Yeah, because you failed with the beast when you were trying to brawl with him.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that put me into a frenzy.
Oh, hold on. No, we should actually roll for your frenzy first. So let's see. Yeah, we just narratively filled in what was happening with that. Yeah, okay, no, you're good.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to try to make him flee with my compel.
Compel, okay.
It's contested because he knows I'm there?
It would be, yeah. So his willpower is you need 3.
Okay, and I roll... Discipline roll.
I think it's set up actually. So the discipline, if you go to the thing, there's a like roll discipline option. There's
which stat should I use?
Next to the power. I think I've already set it actually.
Well, they're blank. I have 2 in the power, but it doesn't have any attributes assigned. Should I do
Which-
intimidation and discipline?
Hold on, I thought no, because it is an actual.
Oh, it is charisma. There it is. I see it.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that each power has a different thing.
Okay.
One uses charisma, one uses. Amazing. So.
Just is it like his face morphs into like the most demonic thing he can think, and he just says "flee."
Okay. Now here's the thing. We talked this beforehand. Your what do you call it? So your clan is Clan Zemitzi, which is the fucking best because they're horrible. Your face may transform into a fucking monster-ish, distorted, obviously inhuman thing. He's just gonna run and keep running until daybreak comes. So,
That's it for me.
What do you do then, Lucian?
I think he's gonna slump back against the wall and go obfuscate, just stand still and just wait.
Okay.
Until either he hears Jason coming or another guy or a victim.
So I'm going to impose a bit of a fear penalty on these other guys because we did not. I made successes, but not good enough. You have 6 successes on your last stealth check, right? You rerolled 3. You had 3 to start with. Yeah. So let's see here. They're going to spend their round trying to find you, Jason. And
jeez,
there we go.
I wonder if my command and growl carried back that far just a little bit.
We generally target one.
Oh, I mean, I wonder if they just heard some of the interaction. Okay. So
yeah.
Because that'd be pretty cool to add to the suspense that Jason's pulling off.
Well, also, I mean, like when they're looking around. So here's what happens. 2 of them are looking around. Where is he? Where is he? And then they hear the sound of booted feet. The tack lights go off to the end of the alleyway. And you see the guy that Lucian terrified go racing parallel to, or perpendicular to them. And then off, and they're like, where are you going? Where are you? They did not see you. Jason, your turn. What are you doing?
So these 2 succeed on their willpower?
These check. 2 are...
You said you were going to make a willpower check for them?
I did already, and I imposed a penalty. They're scared right now.
Okay, they're scared. He steps out of the shadows, and he's like, your choice, die here in this alley, or go home to your loved ones. And he bares his fangs at them.
Yeah. The other cool thing with your shadow ability is I believe it grants +2 to intimidate.
Okay. And he's going to use that.
Double check on that. I don't want to confuse the 2 characters.
Well, my eyes do that for sure.
Yeah.
So we both may have that.
Yeah. You gain a 2 dice bonus to stealth rolls and intimidation versus wolves.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So go ahead and give us intimidation. I think just with how strong you've been, I'll let you include the 3 from your Protean ability. So why don't... I mean, you just ripped a guy's head off.
Yeah.
Give us a intimidation with... What do you think? Manipulation? And then 5 extra dice.
Okay.
He's gonna shit themselves.
Yeah. So the 2 of them, exchange a look at one another and then run to the other end of the hallway.
Okay. Or the alley.
Or the alleyway, not the hallway.
Yeah. Okay.
You're in a dungeon, sorry.
Yes.
So with that off, Lucien, you still don't have anyone to feed on.
Nope.
Although with that guy who had the head torn off, you could probably feed off of 3 blood from him. And you don't suffer because of your iron gut. You can feed off of the dead without penalty.
Yeah, I think I'll look around to see if Jason's still there, and then just the spurting blood still left over from the head draws me in like a moth to the flame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so then you can reduce your hunger by 3, Lucien.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
then
gonna try and rouse to heal some damage because ow. Do we have time to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
You
rouse
can...
1.
No problem.
Rouse 2. I gain a hunger and get rid of 4 of my superficial damage.
Okay.
Okay. He's gonna wipe his mouth And his face is still settling back into normal from all that exertion. He just, did you rip his head off?
Twisted, pulled. It came off a little easier than I expected. Little D's waiting.
Doubling what I was going to give you. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
Okay. So then, tell us how you guys are going to approach this gas station.
I think, that's going to be interesting. We don't exactly look particularly.
Yeah, and we probably got blood all over us.
What time of night is it?
You check your watch. I'm not sure if Jason was a watch wearing kind of guy.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a technology roll again?
Sure.
Lucian's got
Technology
one
and
of those
intelligence.
fake Rolexes.
I mean, with resources 3, that could definitely be a fucking real Rolex.
Nah, there's a fake one. He's too cheap to buy a real one.
Well, okay, so you wanted technology intelligence?
Yeah.
I was asking more from the perspective of like if it was late enough, he probably would have.
Well, let's just read the roll, because I'm curious to see whether this is another. Yeah. So another opportunity for you to see that another piece of technology does not seem to be functioning the way that you had.
His watch isn't just showing the wrong number. It's like flickering and changing times all the time. And he just grabs a watch and he throws it into a nearby building. It was probably a Rolex.
Yeah, it shatters with your strength. So, as far as what time of night, it's probably about maybe 3
in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he would have had the wherewithal to suggest a place that wasn't open 24 hours.
Okay.
So basically, just a location that. But he also knows that gas stations generally don't have, they might have cameras, but they probably don't have like a lot of houses right nearby that are going to be looking at the gas station this late at night. So he stays, he kind of looks at Lucian. He says, stay here. Like there's some shadows near the gas station. And he basically kind of walks to it waiting for the guy to show up. But if there's like any pools of light, he's staying a little bit back, and he's using. Why don't you give us another stealth check, Jason? Just because you still are being pursued. Yep. Stealth check. And you get the +2 from your. Yep. And the Dex.
Oblivion.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
that's good enough. Two is an average success. That's still. So
I keep seeing the old one, so I always see the result of the previous one first. So So I'm like,
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right, so you're able to get to this gas station. What kind of vehicle do you think that little D drives?
He probably.
Is it a car? Is it a van? Is it a truck?
It's probably this old car. Maybe a bit of a beater, but once was probably a pretty nice car.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So it's I love that the old car is now something that I might have driven when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Do like an old beat up Impala.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's a fan of the Supernatural show.
Yeah. No, you had old Chevelle. Oh wait, Chevette.
So he, you can see that Little D's vehicle is here.
Mm-hmm. So he's a touch worried about what he's going to look like. He's tried to wipe as much off as he could, and make sure that was on thing. I'm assuming he's got some blood on his shirt and everything else.
And dirt under your jeans,
Yeah. He kind of walks up mostly as from as dark a location as possible, so it disguises some of that stuff. But he calls out first. He says, "Little D, I'm here."
Okay. The gets out of the vehicle and.
Yeah.
Where?
No, over here. He steps out, and again, he's actually using the shadows to try to not hide, but kind of maybe to obfuscate a little bit of how bad of a shape his
so I think the net effect is it sort of plays into that intimidation thing, so it's terrifying for him. He kind of staggers back. What the hell? What happened to you?
it's just me. It's just me. I don't know. Somebody grabbed me, and people are like trying to kill us and fights. I don't know. Maybe it's a rival gang. He's trying to use terms that little D might know.
Who's trying to kill you? What do you?
Some guys with these crosses on their uniforms. Some cult guys or another gang. I don't know. He says, but I've got a friend. We just need a lift back to my haven. Not my haven, but like whatever. Yeah. We need a lift back to my to wherever. And he just names the location. Little D knows instantly where that is. It's like, do you ever change your clothes? It's like, I'm changing the.
Yeah. Sorry, you. Yeah. Here in the back seat. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he goes to the back seat, opens it. He says, okay, now my associate over here, and he points over, and he kind of like does this to Lucian. Come on. It's like, this guy,
Lucian will walk over, and he's taken his overcoat off and folded it over his arm a bit, just so his undershirt is like the cleanest thing with the less blood on it. There's still a spot or two around his neck.
This guy helped me out. If we get him to where I am, he promised to give us quite a bit of money. So he looks over at Lucian. How much is quite a bit of money? So he grabs the clothes. He doesn't bother to actually change. He just pulls on the shirt on top, and he just takes the pants off real quick and put on another pair.
Okay. How many points of strength do you have?
Points of strength?
Yeah. 4?
Jesus, no wonder you're so strong.
Strength is, I don't know if it's that high. 4, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you strike me as the kind of, or at least the frame of the kind of dude who would easily, like, happily change in front of anyone else on the street, because you're fucking huge.
Yeah, and it's 3 at night, and he doesn't care about if anybody sees.
So you change over, and Lucian, there is a second. I think he probably would have, Little D would have understood it as bringing a second set of clothes. So there's clothes that are you can see Jason's illustration. It'd be something akin to that.
Yep.
He'll kind of like frown at it and maybe put a pair of pants on.
Okay.
But prefer his undershirt, even though it's,
You guys can hear choppers going as well too.
What is going on? And he's taken the attempt to like lower his glowing eyes to the minimum level possible.
Okay.
So it's just unusually bright.
Yeah. He's like, all right, we gotta go. And he says, you know where to go, Lil D.
Where do you think your haven is? Like as far as location, I'm not really concerned with where it is in New York, but I mean, what's the place like? Do you think it's about the size? They say about the size of a family home. So,
in New York, that's more like a what do you call it, a small apartment, right?
Yeah, it could be a small apartment. It could be like an abandoned, like the basement of an abandoned shop, or
Yeah, you know what? Why don't we make it the basement of like a. Maybe not even an abandoned shop. Maybe it's there's a front for whatever other kind of stuff goes on.
Yeah.
Like where I grew up, there's like this battery. It sells batteries, and it's like going, okay, well that can't be what they're just selling there. Everybody knows there's
exactly
something else going on there. So how do you make a living selling batteries? But yeah, let's just say it's a battery shop, and front upstairs that's like open maybe 5 hours out of the week or something.
Okay.
And otherwise he lives in kind of the back room in that, and then in the basement.
So then you guys get back there, and give you a chance to get cleaned up.
I assume we got like all of our stuff, like our money and wallets and phones stripped from us.
You do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's something else that's of interest that you'll feel, Lucian. I mentioned the bane that the Les Ombres have. Mm-hmm. The bane that the Tzimisce have is that they need to sleep in a specific charge. Physical domain, a group of people, an organization, or even something more esoteric. But you need to choose a specific charge that is clearly defined and limited, and you must spend your day's sleep surrounded by your chosen charge. Historically, this has often meant slumbering in the soil of their land, but it can also mean surrounded by that which they tonight rule. A certain kind of people, a building deeply tied with obsession, a local counterculture fashion, or some other outlandish element. If you don't, you suffer aggravated willpower damage equal to your Bane severity, which is a 1 for your blood level. So what do you think that might... What's Lucian feeling itchy to be around so he can sleep?
Oh, that's a good question.
A pile of money.
Well, yeah, that'd be pretty cool, but...
What is it? So I think it seems to be the things that you deeply value as part of your tradition or core being. Like, is it, I don't know, like whatever, is there some family, connection? Is there an old country connection if he is, old Italian?
He likes the fancy clothes, and the culture around wealth and money. Maybe he just needs to have a certain display of wealth around him when he rests to really rest properly.
Okay.
Or maybe something of cultural significance, like a memento or like a pricey artifact or something.
Let's see. If you like the fashion thing, that probably is because you can sort of sleep with like some earth to make it around the same thing. That maybe there's specific Italian designers. You have to wear that to be able to get a comfortable night's sleep.
Okay.
So maybe you can think of it less as like aggravated. I mean, it is aggravated damage to that, but like maybe if the dawn comes and you're having to day sleep here, you're going to wake up and feel like just like almost like a hangover, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking like tonight's going to be rough for him. I mean, he's probably just going to have this underlying urge just to keep his soiled and bloody clothes next to him, just because that's the closest thing he's got.
Technically, it'll be today.
Okay.
Yeah, right, because there's a day sleep that you're sleeping. But as you guys, so tell us a little bit about your haven, Jason. What are we finding as you get into here?
He probably has some old like newspaper articles. Like I said, he was probably a linebacker at one point. So it was like high school when he was like the big man on in his school and whatnot, and so he's got those framed and up. He probably has some maybe let's see, a couple of trophies around. It's all the tacky kind of trophies that you get, but he was probably proud of them, and he uses it to validate himself. As far as everything else in the room, it's decent. It's certainly not up to Lucian's standards for sleeping and being comfortable there, but it's like probably secondhand. Now they're secondhand, but like it's a table that was probably good at one point, but has some stains in it. Still solid enough though that doesn't look like crap. But he hasn't bothered to like completely, to take out the stains or anything else that might have like come in. And chairs, same quality, bed.
So other things you get to notice danger in your haven. You get +1 dice for each point you've got in your haven.
Sure. So
you got 2. Great. And in this case, if it's a basement, then maybe it's like when there's going to be shadows moving past the windows from the basement, right?
Yep.
What's Lucian? How's he reacting, I guess is what I'm asking.
He's feeling a very rare charitable instinct to just give Jason money to spruce his place up to his standards, at least, just out of the goodness of his own heart. But then he's reflecting on, I promised to pay this man. Do we like instinctually know that we don't want to be in sunlight? Or is that something that we're going to find out?
Definitely. And like as it's getting closer to, like you actually have to, I think it's you make a rouse check when you wake up. It might be a willpower check to remain awake during the day as well. I think it depends on your generation level and some other stuff. But what you'll be feeling is like you'll be feeling a need to sleep in the same way that we get tired over time. Vampires in the day are going to feel a need to rest
because he's thinking he needs to call a bookie to get some money withdrawn because he's going to be too tired during the day.
For your injury too, by the way, the way that you once per day, like after you have rested, you can make 2 rouse checks to try and heal aggravated damage. Okay. So you can heal 1 aggravated damage once per day with 2 rouse checks.
Gotcha. He's gonna look at Little D and say, "Can I use your phone?"
And he looks over at you, Jason.
Yeah, he just nods. Yeah, give it to him.
Okay. Yeah. And you can imagine, Jason, if you're still thinking about that tech thing, there's other things that are just fucking up around your apartment that, little things that are just not functioning the way they should. So there's something that is...
Yeah, really... he probably turned on the big, one of the newest big screen flat TVs that, he just got, and it's just static. Yeah. And it's like, he tries to change the channel to something he usually watches, and he gets a Spanish romantic comedy or something on there.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I'm going to smash this thing.
So you got your phone. What are you doing, Lucian?
He's going to call his bookie. He's probably only going to get voicemail just because of the hour. And he's going to leave him instructions to bring 20 grand at a drop point nearby.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a PO box nearby he can have it delivered to, and tell him not to worry about my location or something.
Sure.
He doesn't have a contact like Little D. It's more of bookies.
Yeah,
or
and you have influence,
exactly.
So there's someone you could force to do that for you for sure.
And he's going to specify very clearly he wants 3 sets of very nice suits left in the care package as well.
Yeah.
And he looks at Jason and says, "What's your size?"
He tells him it's
He wrinkles his nose and says, "Get something made for this too."
So then, as you guys are, that sounds like you've got you're bringing yourself closer to 4 or 5 in the morning, so the dawn will be breaking soon. What are your respective hunger levels right now?
I think I have a 1.
I think mine's still 0.
Okay, great.
I got a 1.
Got a 1, okay. So then what...
Yeah, mine's 0.
As the dawn is coming, you can instinctively feel that you're tired, but also you really don't want to be out in the sunlight. Mm-hmm. That's a part of that rot track can be triggered by sunlight as well.
Yeah.
My apologies to German speakers for my butchering of that. I maybe getting that completely wrong too.
Yeah. The basement itself is partially because of what he does. It's it has no windows or anything else. So. That's great. So you could easily have so there's no light coming in here. Yep. He tells Lucian, he's like, "Man, I think we're going to need to sleep. This place is yours until we figure out what the hell happened, where we need to go, whatever."
I'm less concerned about places as what the hell happened.
Me too, but I think he's probably beginning to feel the fatigue too.
Yeah, at this point in vampires are like a fairy tale or whatever, but people believe in ghosts, but he's like, it's like, I think the church was after us. The Vatican, if that's a thing.
The Vatican.
Are we must be vampires.
Jason just waves his hand. He's like, "You've been watching too many television shows." It's like, I would imagine Jason is just a complete, he doesn't even think about this stuff. He's like, he is what he is.
Yeah.
There's a bit of thoughts just crisscrossing in Lucian's face. It's very expressive more now that he's Dimitri. And then he looks, and then he gets this slow, sweeping grin on his face. Is like, "I've got all the time in the world." And it's just it's a slow dawning acceptance, but he's excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How is Jason feeling about this transformation?
Jason's really trying not to dwell on that. He's
people's heads off, man. Damn.
Yeah, that's maybe a real you've always been a big dude, and you can thug around, and probably take the better of most people in a fight. This is just you're jumping onto roofs of places. You're tearing heads off of people.
Yeah, and Lucian looks like he's in his mid-50s at least. So, to say he's excited is a very, very minor
Yes. Yeah. He was coming to the. He was probably in his mortal life coming to the realization that he is mortal. And it's like, yeah. But Jason's a little bit younger, and he's like, shit, yeah, I can do it. He says, okay, maybe you're right, but then what the fuck do we do? It's like
we play the long game.
Just because I work for this guy, and he and by the way, by this point, he has told Little D to get the hell out. He's not in those words so much, but it's like, man, I gotta rest. It's like, thanks, man. He says. Well,
also, you don't know Lucian from Adam, and you've seen him feed twice now, so if you don't want him feeding on Little D, that's probably...
he was eyeballing Little D a little bit, because Lucian's discovering that Jason is very efficient with his blood use, but he goes through it like a fire truck. So...
And by the way, Little D isn't little. He's just little compared to Jason.
The guy we were fighting, they're getting the better of Lucian, because I'm narratively thinking that his slower strength is because of his age as a human. So he's like, but Lucian has this mindset: tools. You don't abuse your tools unless there's a need to it. So he'd be hesitant to sample his own goods and stuff. So
Jason's like, we can either find out what the hell they want with us, or
they wanted to kill us very clearly.
Well, yeah.
Oh, and Lucian, you've still got that knife too.
Oh yeah, I'd never that.
Yeah, so there's this weird occultic knife with a bunch of it looks like something that would be a high-end prop from some kind of horror movie.
That sounds like a good investigation thing for next time.
So then that, I think, guys, brings us to the end of Shovelheads of our first time. So that, first off, what did you guys think of the Vampire 5e?
I've always liked Vampire the Masquerade, but my experience has only been in the video games. So
yeah, I enjoy it. The system seems pretty clean. And I think you had said something about people weren't sure if it worked well in combat. I think it worked perfectly fine.
Well, for
at
you.
least in the combat we had, true enough. But
although
one of the maxims they have in it is 3 rounds. Like the violence scenes, they say should last 3 rounds. After 3 rounds, it should have resolved. And I like that. I didn't need to put my thumb on the scale when this whatsoever. It really felt like that got to that point naturally. I think our opening scene went a little longer, but the struggling, trying to figure out who you were, that felt still interesting. It didn't feel like it was a slog.
And
I think it was still only about 3 rounds, even the opening one. I think there was a lot more exposition of what we're trying to do. And
it's about 4 to 5, but yeah.
So.
But with by the second thing where I told the guy to just flee, Lucian has actually realized that he may not be as strong as Jason by far, but his dominate or his command stuff, they will end a fight too.
Yeah. Well, it was neat seeing the your characters first start, because these are starting characters. I didn't add any extra abilities or powers. I was really tempted to do that. I'm like, no. We'll because I really wanted you to have vicissitude as well, but you would need to have one more level in Protean in order to access that. But honestly, the characters felt like fully fleshed and competent characters, which was not necessarily always the case from the last time I ran it. So I really like that. The powers, man, the disciplines feel really potent. Not like overbalanced, because like adversaries would have something similar, but it felt like you felt like you were something special already.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm definitely gonna have to lean into learning some extra powers as far as getting my stuff up so I can access the lesser ones, just so he can actually feel more vampiric, like climbing walls with his fingers or something.
Well, that's the neat thing, because they're spread across so many different things. It depends on what way you choose to do that. Like one of the ways there are, I can't remember. It might be another Protean thing that allows you to climb walls, but like vicissitude is also a way of it's you physically warping your body to do that. So you could make your claws.
Instead of being super strong, I'm super adaptable.
Yeah. So awesome.
I want to play this again for sure.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, I from the GM side, this was like there's some things I want to look up after the session to clarify in my head, but I really like the blood mechanic. It's interesting, the risk reward of having to risk getting that hunger up, and the random. Oh man, I can't believe I rolled Slayer, or you rolled Slayer. That was so because. Of all the different possible results, and they're like, okay, cool. That was really what I was hoping. Not that you hope that you would roll a Slayer, but I was hoping that in the same way that I find random elements being introduced in the course of a session is fun and interesting. That's what I hoped when I read that chart. I'm like, oh, this could be really cool.
Yep.
Well, that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have got a critical success with the whole flea thing. So it was
absolutely, yeah, really worked out well. So. Awesome. Well, great. Well, then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this special one-shot, Shovelheads. Congratulations on escaping the Sabah, or did you escape the Sabah? Oh, and for narratively speaking, if you're curious, one of the long-term threats to the vampires in the World of Darkness is the Order of St. Sylvester. Who are members of the Inquisition, or one of the parts of the Inquisition. So that is probably who you were. The Second Inquisition sourcebook came out a couple of years ago, and it's just full of super fucking cool things.
So I'm kind of curious, like narratively speaking, it was like that organization probably found a Sabbat war thing going on, and we just went in to clean it up. So
and didn't realize that some of you guys were already in the pit.
Oh. Did we partake from the chalice or have a bond?
The vinculum happens after you come out.
That's what I thought.
Which is why you didn't. Yeah, why you guys aren't bound to a pack. What they would have done is taken you out and sent you out as like the reason they do the Shovelhead thing is because it makes a ton of cannon fodder. And the vinculum bond with the Shovelheads makes them into an effective working unit because they're all so loyal and bound to one another. So you take them out, you send them out against your enemies. So whatever is going on here, whether that is sending them against the Inquisition or whether there was some other, like the Camarilla and the Sabah have fought over New York for years. So who knows what's going on?
Yeah. We're going to have so many factions vying for us, and probably Sabata was like, we own you. And I'm like, no, you don't.
One of the strong faction that didn't play as much of a role in the previous editions was the Anarchs, but the Anarchs are a much more significant, like in fiction, there were a bunch of the Bruja and the Gangrel and some other like varied factions with the Gangrel and the Bruja in particular. They were part of the Camarilla or they were part of the Sabah. They've left the Camarilla altogether to join the Anarchs. So there's actually at least 3 kind of significant factions of vampires, which is...
the Anarchs play a little bit of role in Vampire Bloodlines, the video game. So.
Yeah. The only thing is that with the Anarchs now, they've got like whole... It's not just like some people who don't want to be part of the Camarilla. It's whole, groups that have left. Which makes sense, because like the Bruja are kind of like the rebels, going back, and the Gangrel are they're the ones that have the close association with Protean and with turning into like bats and wolves and shit like that. They also have the ability to sleep in the earth. So rather than having to find a haven to go into, they can actually, those with a certain level of Protean can just sink themselves into the earth and sleep in a call down there. Yeah. So... Awesome. Anyway, for those listening at home, as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, again, I'm certain I got a bunch of things wrong with the rules, but you can leave any comments, questions, or concerns in the comments down below. There is also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to sorted games and most of the games we run on the channel, as well as things like finding a group or GM discussion or virtual tabletop chat. There's a great community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. There's also a link. Oh, if you make a purchase, I should say, of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight. All caps, all one word. It is in the description of this video, and you'll save yourself 10% on your purchase. If you are listening to this after June 30th, 2024, come back to one of our more recent videos and find the current discount code listed there because it does change over time. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations that go through that link go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, starting at the end of July, we will be having our voting opening up for the remaining charity sessions of the year. The donors who have donated $25 or more to that charity since January 1st, 2024, will be voting on the different components of those things, including settings and whatnot. And I've got what I think is a fun setup for the second half. So I'll be sharing information about that in late July in 2024. Which is now only a month off. Jeez Louise. Time she is a-flying. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to Robert and John for jumping in on this game this morning, too. I've really looked forward to... I've been wanting to run this particular idea for it for years now, and I've also really wanted to get 5th edition Vampire to the table to see how it compares to the others, and so thank you very, very much for diving in on this one-shot today, guys, and doing such a great job of bringing these characters to life.
Sure.
Oh, it was great. Thank you.
Had a blast.
Awesome. Then, for those listening at home, we should be back to the Great White North and carrying on with our Guard campaign in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that these poor shovelheads have had to go through in their awakening to their afterlife. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.